I think that fiction helps to be even more connected to life, which is paradoxal.
It is.
Yes.
Because I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I'm not quite sure if I get there.
I can see you came in and you were like, you had many questions, and now you're like, and that's exactly what I want.
The world is a much more dangerous place now that pain has all but disappeared.
Surgery is sex, isn't it?
Is it?
You know it is. Surgery is the new sex.
I don't like what's happening with the body. In particular, what's happening with my body. Which is why I keep cutting it up.
You've called casting a film a black art. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean that people who don't know about it seem to think it must be a simple thing, you know, push button. Oh yes, obviously Viggo should play the lead role. Well, sure, it's obvious that Léa Seydoux should play, you know, his partner. And the thought, first of all, choosing an actor to work with seems to be a simple thing for people. After they see a movie, and if the actors seem great in the movie, they think it's obvious that they should be there. But they don't understand that before you make the movie, you have no idea who the actor should be. It's each time you have an idea, the movie changes in your head. And then there's a question of the chemistry between the actors. If they've never met each other, how do you know that the chemistry will really be there? It's very rare that you work with actors who know each other well. And then the other thing is all the boring but crucial things of agents, money, availability, actors who would like to do the movie but can't, or they say they would like to but really they don't want to do it. And you know, it gets very complicated.
But there must have been times that you were spectacularly right in casting. Do you remember one of those instances?
I think most of my movies. No, seriously. I mean, and you have to be lucky. Sometimes the right person says no. You know, you might be pressured. The other element of casting is the question of, is this actor popular enough for your budget? If you have a very big budget, you need a more popular actor. And sometimes the two things don't go together. So sometimes you might be pressured by your producer, by your distributor, to approach an actor who they say you would have the best budget you could possibly have if you get this actor. And then you go to that actor, and that actor says, no, I don't want to do your movie. And then later you end up with the right actor, the actor you got for the right reasons.
So it was a blessing in disguise.
It's a blessing, and that's my mantra. Sometimes the right actor says no.
Do you think you would ever let me be a part of your show? Just because I would love to find myself in that Sark module with you at the controls.
I would. That would definitely fall into that category of new ice.
That is where I live.
David Cronenberg, the director, for him casting is like black magic, a black art. You never know, only after the film is done, if you've made the right decision. Same must be true for actors, right? What made you think that Timlin was right for you?
I never want to play anyone other than myself. I only want to have selfish, desire-based, curious experiences. I feel like sometimes some of the scenes that I've played in my life as characters in movies are personal memories. Like things that I hold. Sometimes I will literally go, oh yeah, remember that one time I go, well, that wasn't a movie. That wasn't even real. But when you do work that you can actually find yourself through and find connections to fellows through that are deeper than you would have if you just sat and had lunch with someone, but instead you go, hey, let's go play pretend and have really, really elaborate hypothetical scenarios in which we act out together as human beings that bring our whole lives to it. I bring my whole life to every part I've ever played. And I read books and I read the script and I ask the director questions, but you need to hold your life and the characters at the same time and hope that they become one, and the congruence between the two is where the character lies. It's not like I leave myself or completely find a character. It's somewhere in between, and it's having one foot in and one foot out that I think makes a performer, an actor, or somebody who fakes it. And I never want to fake it.
I talked to a Palestinian director called Hani Abu Assad, and he told me that for many actors it's very difficult to be emotionally naked because there's always a danger. And he pointed at Philip Seymour Hoffman, because if you're so vulnerable acting, and I've seen you in Un Bon Matin, and you were close to tears all the time, so you were very much vulnerable in that role. Is that something you worry about?
No, I'm not worried about it. I need it because I've always felt that I had this sadness inside me, you know, sadness or emotions or joy. I mean, I'm very sensitive, and acting helps me to, you know, express those things. And so, no, for me it's more like a catharsis, you know,
yes.
It really helps. So, and I like to, because sometimes I feel, I have those feelings, you know, inside me, and I want them I want to transform them into something beautiful. And for me, like, cinema is even if it's tragic or sad sometimes, but the beauty of cinema is also in its sadness. It's why I like cinema. It's that it's very organic. I mean, acting is very organic. You have to just constantly. You have to be connected to yourself. But also, you feel alive when you act.
In periods that you're not acting, are you saying that you feel less alive?
I feel alive in a different way. No, I feel alive.
But it also means that you cannot stop.
No, sometimes you don't feel alive.
You
Sometimes
don't feel
you feel
alive?
dead. Yeah, it happens to everyone.
We're back to the sadness part again, I think.
No, maybe that's why I work a lot.
It's not that small.
Quite big, actually. Do you mind if I ask you something intimate?
Hi. No, go ahead.
Surgery is sex, isn't it?
Is it?
You know it is. Surgery is the new sex.
You've called this film Cronenberg's most personal film. And I asked him about it, and he said, well, I cannot say much about it. Ask Viggo. Well, why did you say that?
It does deal, like other films, very directly with the human body, what happens to it as it decays, as it evolves on its journey to disappearing. That's something he's always been very honest about, and maybe with the passage of time, telling this story, which he wrote actually a long time ago, more than 20 years ago, maybe this was the right time to tell it and to deal perhaps more personally, more immediately with this aspect of the body. I mean, he himself is getting older, and so he's maybe looking at it. I don't know, he'd have to speak to that. But yeah, I found it a very intelligent and brave exploration of what happens to us. There are lots of filmmakers who are brave and try things the way he does, but he's consistently dealing with, he's engaging in storytelling that has many layers to it, and often has a resonance that you can't completely understand when you first see his films. In other words, his movies tend, in my opinion, to improve with each viewing, whereas other movies, even good ones, especially ones that have new kind of imagery, or maybe surprising storylines, as you see them successive times, they don't necessarily improve. And in some cases you think, maybe it's not as good as I thought at first, or maybe there's not as much substance to it. With him, it's the opposite. I think they improve, and as time passes, they become more relevant to society than they were when they first were made.
He's called the father of body horror, but he himself doesn't see the body mutating, viruses, whatever. He doesn't see it as horror. He sees it as a thing of beauty. Can you understand that, or do you agree?
Well, I think it's exactly how you look at your own life and your own mortality. You can either be afraid of it, in denial of it, angry about it, irritated about it, or you can be maybe a little irritated but also have a sense of humor about it. And I think he always has a sense of humor about his own frailty and that of others, and I think that comes through in his movie making, not just in this movie but in many others.